Welcome back to Charlotte with Veterans Day. This week we take time to honor America with our national anthem. Right now, let's go to public address announcer Nick Pierce.
Now, as you remain standing, placing your right hand over your heart, while all veterans may render their hand salute, we invite you to join with the Division's own 2nd Marine Division Band, based in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, as they honor America, and we salute our troops around the world with the playing of our national anthem.
Today's game is being broadcast in Spanish where available using the SAP button on your television. Getting you ready for the Chiefs and the Panthers. Weather here in Charlotte, it's about 50 degrees. There was rain earlier today, not raining now, but could be wet as the afternoon goes on here in Carolina. Right now, let's bring in the third member of our crew down to the field, Evan Washburn.
And brisk but comfortable down here. The Kansas City Chiefs happy to have Alex Smith back under center. This after missing last week with what could be best described as precautionary reasons, obviously stemming from those hits taken against the Colts. Now, he was in the concussion protocol twice in that game and in following days, but Smith reiterated to us last night, at no point was he actually diagnosed with a concussion. It's an important detail that's been in question here in recent days. He didn't miss any practice time, and his approach won't change. A mobile quarterback, he just wants to avoid those late slides that led to those hits, guys.
Well, you think back 4 years ago, he did suffer a concussion with San Francisco, and then when he was healthy, he didn't get his starting job back. Lost it to Colin Kaepernick at the time. Meanwhile, for Cam Newton, he has taken so many shots over the course of the first 8 games of this season. Carolina enters action at 3-5.
And the different types of shots, too, both low and to the head. Really is puzzling why they weren't called. But he did have his conversation with the boss. We'll see what happens.
His head coach, Ron Rivera, the message has been they can't do anything about the first 6 games, but they can do something about the final 10. So far in that 10-game stretch, they've gone 2-0. And Andy Reid, head coach of Kansas City, relationship with Rivera. Rivera served under him back in the Philadelphia days when Rivera was the linebacker coach for the Eagles. Reid saying that this team just, they've got moving parts, but they play hard. There's still room for improvement, but he likes his group.
You know, with the familiarity of both coaching staffs, it's going to be which coaching staff goes totally off script here today and goes against their tendencies that may decide the outcome of this game.
Kansas City won the toss. They have deferred to the second half, so Carolina will receive it. We're underway in Charlotte. Cairo Santos kicking off. Fozzie Whitaker will take it out of the end zone. Whitaker across the 20 and then stacked up there. That's where Carolina will take over with Cam Newton. Very close to 20,000 yards for his career. He's 4 yards shy. Newton last week absorbed 5 more sacks.
And the key today for Newton is to stay ahead of the chains with good gains on first and second down, and that will prevent those third and long situations that have plagued the Panthers in pass protection and led to so many of those big hits.
Carolina, 13-10 win in Los Angeles last week. They're actually 3-0 against the NFC West, San Francisco, Arizona, and the Rams. They're 0-5 against everybody else. They open up with Dixon in the backfield. He'll now shift to the line. Two tight ends in this formation with Dixon and Olsen. Stewart by himself. On a give, Stewart, nothing there. Jonathan Stewart comes in averaging 3.7 yards per carry. Eric Berry got him down low, a 1-yard pickup. Starting offense for Carolina, Gino Gradkowski is in for Ryan Khalil. Second straight game, Gradkowski has been in there, and he's not 100%. He's dealing with some knee trouble. There is Jonathan Stewart producing touchdowns. He's got 4 of them in his last 3 games. He's finally overcome that hamstring injury that cost him 3 games. Gradkowski in the middle. Remmers is at left tackle for the injured Michael Orr, and Darrell Williams is at right tackle. Shotgun for Newton. Newton over the middle. It's complete across the 30 to Greg Olsen. And Cam Newton has gone over 20,000 yards for his career, the 5th youngest player to hit that mark in NFL history. Starting defense for Kansas City, Kendall Reyes is in for the injured Jay Howard. Reyes, the former San Diego Charger. Linebackers, Ramik Wilson had a pick last week in that victory over Jacksonville. And in the secondary, Marcus Peters. He's tied for the NFL lead with 5 interceptions with Casey Hayward of San Diego. Extra offensive lineman, it's Chris Scott, and it's a 3rd and 1 for Carolina, just across the 30-yard line. Newton will run it. Cam Newton down the sideline. A design play for Newton. And he circled around. Frank Zombo couldn't catch him. 28-yard rip for Newton.
He's going to fake the handoff to Mike Tolbert, and then Eric Berry and Zombo both go for the fake. And a great start for the Panthers into Chief territory off the legs of Cam Newton for 28.
They have a sophisticated running game because they can. They've got that guy at quarterback. But you could see jet sweeps, zone reads, Newton to throw it, knocked down, denied by Dontari Poe at the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10 for Carolina.
That's a pretty good play by Dontari Poe because he was being double teamed by Trey Turner and Gino Gradkowski and still got his left hand to knock that ball down.
So 2nd and long here for Carolina. Just 244 yards last week, only 59 on the ground. Grinded out a victory over the Rams. Newton has plenty of time, fires it to the sideline, and it's complete. Ted Ginn Jr. has really become a safety valve for Cam Newton in many ways.
Yeah, 37 catches now in the year for Benjamin. There's a deep out route against Marcus Peters. And the strength of the arm of Cam Newton puts the ball right on target.
So Ted Ginn in his 2nd stint with Carolina. Steven Nelson is the nickel here for Kansas City. Newton on a handoff, read perfectly by Zombo. Jonathan Stewart is in goal for no gain. So for Cam Newton, we mentioned it, over 20,000 yards in his career, now in his 6th season in the NFL. The only guys who did it at a younger age, Bledsoe, Manning, Stafford, and Marino.
Pretty good company right there. And Newton, when you add up all the rushing yardage, my goodness, what a threat.
2 tight ends, Olsen and Dixon, opening drive. Newton goes down across the 25, head first. It's a 3-yard gain for Newton, sets up 3rd down for the Panthers.
Well, the Chiefs were ready for that quarterback draw. It was a draw the entire way. Smart getting down and getting as much yardage as possible by that forward dive and roll for the contact.
Kansas City comes out in dime with Daniel Sorensen, who has been making some plays for the Chiefs defensively in his 3rd year from BYU. Fozzie Whitaker is in there for Carolina on a 3rd and 7 for the Panthers. Out of the gun. Newton trying to get out of the pocket. Throws. out of bounds. He was looking in the area of Greg Olson, but Tamba Hali and Raheem Nunez-Roches put the heat on Cam Newton.
Well, 260 pounds fighting off the pass rush here. Tamba Hali down low. And there's a good pull-off there by the linebacker coming in on Newton, not spearing him in the head.
And fortunate that Newton got rid of it. That could have pushed them out of field goal range. Instead, it's a 42-yard attempt for Graham Gano. Trying to put Carolina on the board first. Gano knocks it through. The Panthers with a 3-0 lead. They put points on the board on their opening drive. Opening drive for the Panthers, 9 plays, 54 yards, took 4 minutes and 11 seconds. Gano, a 42-yard field goal. And Carolina with a 3-0 lead on Kansas City. Gano will now kick it off. Niall Davis is the deep man. We do not expect to see Tyreek Hill on kickoff returns because he's got a more pronounced role on offense with the injury to Jeremy Maclin. Niall Davis. A eventful last month for Davis, bouncing around between Green Bay and Kansas City. And now Alex Smith will get his first crack at this Carolina defense, limiting mistakes. That is the MO for this Kansas City offense, and Smith in particular.
Yeah, he told us yesterday he's excited to face a couple of rookie corners.
Yes.
James Bradbury and Darryl Wardley. Look for Smith to challenge them early and make them prove that they can play. They've been challenged each week so far in the NFL, but the Panther pass defense 29th in the NFL.
Maclin out with a groin injury, so Albert Wilson gets the start at the other wide receiver spot. Set up the screen for Spencer Ware. Makes a couple of players miss and goes down after the gain of 1. Luke Kuechly will get credit for the tackle for Carolina. Starting offense for Kansas City. Mitchell Schwartz, they brought him over as a free agent. He's helped solidify the right side of that Kansas City line. Backs and receivers, Ware returns after the concussion last week. It was Charkandrick West who took over the main spot at running back. We'll see West as well. They go with a two-headed attack, Ware and West in the backfield. Kansas City 4-0 since the bye week. A sprint out, hooks up with Tyreek Hill. The rookie out of West Alabama, brought down by fellow rookie James Bradbury. 10-yard pickup through the air. Defensively for Carolina, star Latulele, career high 4 sacks this season for the big defensive tackle. A.J. Klein starting for the injured Shaq Thompson this week. And in the secondary, Kurt Coleman has really become a playmaker for this defense. He's a former Kansas City Chief. Dime package here for Carolina on a 1st and 10 for Kansas City. Ware hit immediately. It's Kuechly sniffing it out. 1-yard gain for Spencer Ware.
Another tackle for Luke Kuechly, but also help from Kurt Coleman. Coleman came in quickly there, and Kuechly kind of cleaned it up, but a nice run blitz called that time by defensive coordinator Sean McDermott.
Starting to drizzle here in Charlotte. 2 tight ends in this formation, Kelsey and Harris. On a give, Ware makes a zigzag move, and he's got enough for a first down. Out to midfield. Duvernay Tardif with a key block, springs Ware for 12.
Well, it's always going to be a key block on a nice big run, and this is Duvernay Tardif, number 76. Also a good block by the Mitch Morse there. Watch, the ball almost comes out after this hit, but a good job by Ware to be aware.
Kansas City is 21st in the NFL in rushing. Flags come down.
False start. Number 71 offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Carl Cheffers, our referee, and penalty works against Mitchell Schwartz on the jump. We asked Andy Reid about Alex Smith. He said no repercussions from the hit. The way he handles everything, he's great at the line of scrimmage. You asked him about check with me's. Every play is a check with me because they trust him so much.
Well, his goal is to never put his teammates in a bad play.
Kansas City goes empty. Drop ball. Demetrius Harris. the former college basketball player at UW Milwaukee.
Now, this ball is right on target. You can see it just bounces right off his chest there. But 2 mistakes in a row now for Kansas City after they get the good run by Spencer Ware. The offsides on Schwartz and then a clear drop pass by Harris.
This Kansas City team has not committed a turnover since week 4. It's a 2nd and 15 for KC. Smith steps up in the pocket. Smith looking to run. Smith goes down as he makes his way into Carolina territory, chased down by Charles Johnson, 6-yard run. NFL Today update. JB, Coach Cowher.
Washington starts on a high.
Yeah, Jamison Crowder will take this 4-yard touchdown pass from Kirk Cousins. Remember, no Deshaun Jackson today, but no problem right now for the Washington Redskins. They lead 7-0.
That was on an opening drive. Ian, Dan, and Evan.
And the NFC East guys, very competitive. Dallas, one of the biggest surprises of the NFL at 7-1. There's Washington at 4-3-1. Smith to throw it on 3rd and 9. Uncorks a deep ball. Smith downfield. It's intercepted. Trey Boston's got it for Carolina. Boston brought down just short of the 30-yard line. Just the 3rd kick of the season for Alex Smith. Kansas City had gone 165 straight passes without an interception until this one. Trey Boston stepping in for the INT and a 21-yard return for the Panthers.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Head and Shoulders. Shoulders were made for greatness, not dandruff. And by USAA, official military appreciation sponsor of the NFL.
Carolina last year best in the NFL, forcing turnovers and in turnover differential. That has not been the story this year. It's been Kansas City that's led the league in that category, but it's Carolina that gets the takeaway here in the first quarter. They lead it 3-0. And some trickery. Ted Ginn Jr. A lot of running and leads to a couple.
Go back to the interception. This is an outstanding job by Trey Boston. Watch as the route by Hill gets beyond Darryl Worley. But as soon as Alex Smith turns his shoulders, watch the shoulders here of Boston. He sees the receiver Hill going deep, cuts over and picks off the pass for his first of the year. Great read by Trey Boston.
3 defensive linemen there, but a large front. Buster, incomplete, trying to get Kelvin Benjamin involved. Fans wanted a flag with contact. Steven Nelson, the nickel. And Alex Smith has not experienced a whole lot of that this season, just his 3rd interception of the year. Left to stew about it along the sideline. 3rd and 9 now for Carolina.
And it's a case of not seeing the safety and getting a little greedy because Tyreek Hill had about 5 yards on Worley. Would have been an easy touchdown if he had looked off the safety Boston.
So now Newton will operate out of the gun with Olsen and Dixon, 2 tight ends. Dixon off the line of scrimmage. Newton, pocket holds up, fires it into heavy traffic, and it's Greg Olsen just short of a first down with Phillip Gaines and Eric Berry there defensively.
Well, so much confidence Newton has in Olsen because watch how Olsen greets the ball, reaches out in front of his face mask, and just those 4 or 5 inches were enough to keep Eric Berry from knocking it away.
Carolina not going to go for it on a 4th and 1. We're 6 minutes to go in the first quarter with a 3-0 lead for the Panthers. So we will see Andy Lee still punting it as well as he did when he came into the league 13 years ago. 49.3 average. And the dangerous Tyreek Hill, 16.7 yards per return with a long of 50 waiting for it. Wobbly punt. Hill ranges over towards the sideline, tries to make a cut. The question, did he step out of bounds? Terrific move by Hill just to stay upright. He's brought down to the 25. 6-yard return, 43-yard punt. Robert McClain, the tackle on special teams. 3-0 lead for the Panthers. Tomorrow, want to know the secret to happiness? Watch TV's #1 comedy as Kevin becomes a life coach. And all new Kevin Can Wait. That's tomorrow, 8, 7 Central only. CBS. Chiefs take over, 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. On the move, Smith tosses to Kelsey. He's dropped out with a 5-yard gain. Robert McClain there defensively. Well, the head injury to Alex Smith, not a concussion. The hit initially by Edwin Jackson, but Smith came back into the game, hit the turf hard, and had to leave again. He did not return. Smith telling us that, again, by the NFL's definition, he did not have a concussion. He passed all the tests, but they put him in the protocol for precautionary reasons. 2nd and 5 for Kansas City. 5 minutes to play in the first. Charkandrick West picks up 2. Kurt Coleman in on the stop for Carolina. NFL Today update. Back to New York, JB, Coach Cowher.
Eagles have done well at home.
Yeah, here's a 4-yard run by Ryan Matthews. They get on the scoreboard first, 7-0, 12-play, 81-yard drive over Atlanta.
Back to Iron Eagle.
And guys, the question with Atlanta is that defense. Nobody questions whether or not they can score consistently enough to be a factor. Can they stop people? 3rd down has not been kind to Kansas City this season. 27th in the NFL. This is a 3rd and 3. Takes a shot downfield. Smith tried to drop it in the bucket to Albert Wilson, and it's incomplete.
Yeah, this is a short arm here. These are called alligator arms by Albert Wilson. This ball is right on target. He sees that Trey Boston coming over and lets that ball go right through his hands. This would have been a huge play for Kansas City and a perfect throw by Alex Smith.
Dustin Colquitt will kick it. Ted Ginn, the return man at the 22-yard line of Carolina. Colquitt didn't get all of that, but it does take a Kansas City roll inside the 30. As it angled out of bounds, Carolina will have it at the 26 after the 42-yard boot from Colquitt.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bud Light. Make the right call. Drink responsibly. And by Cricket Wireless. Something to smile about.
Carolina with a 3-0 lead on Kansas City. 4 minutes to go in this opening quarter. Panthers have it 1st and 10 at their own 26-yard line. Newton fakes the handoff. Newton throws it. Drop. Greg Olsen with Eric Berry. It's 2 Pro Bowlers going head-to-head. And it's 2nd and 10. Magical run last year for Carolina. They went 15-1. They lost in the Super Bowl to Denver. The year after losing in the Super Bowl, the worst record over the first 8 games the following season, Carolina, actually back in 2004, went 1-7. This Panthers squad under Ron Rivera is 3-5. They were 1-5. Remember, Kansas City was 1-5 last year and made the playoffs. They ripped off 10 straight wins to end the regular season. Trying to play to Stewart. Nothing there. Stewart hit down low. Eric Berry got him, and Stewart could not get ahead of steam. Held to no gain on the play.
That shows you why Eric Berry's been to the Pro Bowl. Making a play on Olsen on 1st down and then knifing in there and getting Stewart low. You got to get Stewart low. He goes 240. He's a real strong runner, but Berry dove at his legs and frustrated number 28.
Long-time rivalry between Berry and Cam Newton going back to their middle school days in Fulton County, Georgia. They went to rival high schools. Both were exceptional athletes. 3rd and 10. Newton rush coming. Newton is sacked. D. Ford. He's in double digits on the season. His 10th sack of the year. He has really emerged in his 3rd year, and he does it against his former college teammate, Cam Newton.
Now working against Darrell Williams. Takes the inside route and gets right to Newton. Newton fortunate.
Holding. Number 23 defense.
Drop that ball. It's all going to come back.
It's a hold against the Kansas City defense in the secondary. Philip Gaines.
And this is a killer for Kansas City. Carolina just sent out 3 receivers on that play and still got 2 Newton and brought him down with the pass rush of D. Ford. All for nothing.
So a new set of downs for Carolina at the 31-yard line. Newton to throw it in the pocket. Downfield. Incomplete. Ted Ginn, the intended target. Marcus Peters, Pro Bowl in his rookie season, and he's gotten even better in his second year.
Now, he had 5 picks last year, or 5 so far this season, 8 last year. And talking to defensive coordinator of the Chiefs, Bob Sutton, about Peters, he says he has the ability to make the catch. He's got tremendous hands and locates the ball quickly. That time he was right with Ginn step for step.
2nd and 10. Fake it. Toss it underneath to Ginn. And they just charge to the ball, led by Steven Nelson. It's a loss of 1 on the play as we check in with Evan Washburn.
Well, and if the Panthers decide to punt here, it's going to be Graham Gano. Andy Lee's dealing with a right hamstring injury. Gano's currently taking some warm-up punts here on the sideline. His official word is questionable, but again, Gano appears to be the guy here if they're in a punting situation.
And Evan, you know, I did see Lee grab his hamstring before he even made that first punt.
So the 13-year veteran Lee injured here in the first quarter and could have a serious effect on special teams and field position. 3rd and 11. Newton bounces off the intended receiver, trying to hit Devin Funchess with Marcus Peters there defensively, and it's 4th down for Carolina.
This is 2 really outstanding coverages now by number 22, playing way off and just sensing that it was going to be a hook route on that 3rd down. Peters breaking on the ball, knocking it away.
So Graham Gano, the kicker, is now punting for Carolina with an injury to Andy Lee. 5th punt of his career. Gano, pretty good one. Hill lost it for a moment, recovers, but it also allowed time for Carolina to get down the field on special teams. He gets blasted by Robert McClain. 42-yard punt. -1 on the return.
This is Andy Lee before his first punt. You can see him reach back to his right hamstring. He did get off a 43-yard punt, but obviously he had a problem in pregame warm-ups, as that was his first punt of the day, only punt.
But a good job by Gano. Kansas City takes over at the 27-yard line. Spencer Ware trying to turn the corner. Bradbury is there in run support to limit Ware to a 1-yard pickup. Be the first to know your team's news with the CBS Sports app. Get instant updates, expert analysis, highlights, and more. Download the CBS Sports app today. Kansas City having a tough time moving the football. Alex Smith has been intercepted. Trey Boston got him on the first possession of the day for KC. Albert Wilson, the motion man, on a 2nd and 9 as we hit 1 minute to go in the first. Working out of the gun, running play for Ware. 3-yard gain for Ware. NFL Today update. Let's check it with JP and Coach Cowher.
A key play for Houston.
Yeah, right here, 45 yards. It's going to be Lamar Miller. It's going to take this all the way in. It's going to step a Brock Osweiler 1-yard touchdown pass to Ryan Griffin. And right now, Houston will take the lead 14-7 over the Jacksonville Jags.
Back to Ian and Dan.
Somebody trying to establish themselves in the AFC South. Right now, it is Houston, the only team over 500 and undefeated in the division. 3rd and 6 for Kansas City. Smith pulls the trigger. It's Ware trying to get the angle, and it is not enough. Luke Kuechly, sideline to sideline linebacker, 5-yard gain through the air.
Just tremendous speed by Kuechly. Watch at the outside linebacker spot here. He just closes so quickly to push Ware out of bounds short of the first down. Ware trying to go underneath the pads of Kuechly, but Kuechly just too fast.
We have hit the end of the first quarter. 3-0, the Panthers leading the Chiefs. We'll return to Charlotte after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Start of the second quarter here in Charlotte. Carolina 3, Kansas City 0. Ian Eagle, Dan Fouts, Evan Washburn, the rest of our NFL on CBS crew. On fourth down, Dustin Colquitt, Pro Bowler in 2012, kicking to Ted Ginn. Ginn lets it bounce. It rolls inside the 5. It curled out of bounds at the 1. The question, was the ball touched? As the Kansas City special teamer was falling to the end zone.
Yeah, it looked like Kenneth Acker had his left foot on the goal line when he made contact with the ball. It was saving Ted Ginn from another embarrassing decision. There's his contact with the ball and the foot on the goal line. That'll come out to the 25.
It's a 64-yard punt, but a net of 44.
First down, Carolina.
So Carolina has it, 1st and 10. At the 20 with a 3-0 lead over Kansas City.
Really can't blame Kenneth Acker on that play, hustling down the field. If he could have just swatted the ball out of bounds without trying to catch it, may have come up with something big there, but game of inches, right?
That's what I've heard. On first down for the Panthers, shotgun. Newton will keep it. Newton weaving through traffic. Takes a hit at the 30 from Philip Gaines. Needed to get to the 30 for the first down.
This is a real long decision by Newton to pull it away from Jonathan Stewart. He saw the defensive end coming up the field, and then he takes this hit right on his right shoulder by Philip Gaines.
Obviously, it brings to light the hits that Newton has taken, but the question isn't when Newton gets out of the pocket. Mike Tolbert is wrestled down short of the 30-yard line. It was second and less than a yard. It's when he's in the pocket, and the complaints that Cam Newton has had, that was a hard hit in the opener against Denver. Does he have legitimate concern in lodging his complaints?
Well, I know that the hits to the head are tougher to determine than a hit to a leg. The last shot there by Campbell of Arizona clearly has to be a penalty. You go back to Tom Brady getting injured by Bernard Pollard, same type of play, and that changed the rules and where you can hit a quarterback, not below the knees and not above the shoulders.
3rd and short. Newton fires it through the hands of Benjamin. Flags fly. Marcus Peters in coverage for Kansas City.
Yeah, they're going to get Peters.
Prior to the pass, holding, number 22 defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
Now Benjamin is a load at 6'5", 245 pounds. You can see Newton looking at him the entire way, but here's the hold here. I've seen worse, but from the angle of the official, he saw a grab at the jersey.
So this drive continues now for Carolina on a 1st and 10. Stewart straight ahead. Stewart bursts through. The legs keep churning, and Stewart's got a first down. Gradkowski and Turner up front, creating space, 11-yard pickup. NFL Today update. JB, Coach Cowher.
A native Washingtonian showing all.
Yeah, here Kirk Cousins going to find Vernon Davis 38 yards out. They go up 14-0. Kirk Cousins on that drive, 6 of 6.
Ride him all day. Back to Ian and Dan.
And Davis has been reborn in his hometown. Stewart rumbling to midfield and just crossing over the 50. Dontari Poe there to make the stop for Kansas City. That's a 7-yard pickup. Starting to soften this Kansas City D a bit.
And going right to the line of scrimmage for the next play.
Corey Brown sets up in the backfield. They'll give it to Stewart. And again, he busts through that initial wave, turns it into a 5-yard pickup. And a new set of downs for Carolina to work with. Derek Johnson with the tackle.
Yeah, they're finding the rhythm now, and it's on the read option play. This time, instead of keeping it, Newton gives to Stewart for another good gain in the first down.
And they're finding balance. couple of fakes by Newton, and Kansas City didn't bite. Derek Johnson combining with Frank Zombo to hold Newton to no gain on the play.
A good job there also by Derek Johnson, and then Zombo comes in, 51. There's the shot by Johnson, and then the little kiss by Zombo.
Is Raff here?
He should be.
2 defensive linemen for Kansas City, 4 linebackers. And we've seen this frequently from the Chiefs in the first half. Newton gets rid of it quickly. Snagged by Kelvin Benjamin. Great snatch. 14 yards on the hookup.
At 6'5" and real long arms, watch him reach above the crowd there. Steve Nelson in the throwing lane, but Newton throws it over Nelson and right to the hands of Benjamin.
Olsen, the motion man for Carolina. Panthers are on the move in Kansas City territory. Take it, toss it, ricochet, and nearly intercepted by Nelson. Marcus Peters, first man over there for Kansas City.
Yeah, Peters had a good shot at this. If Peters makes this catch, he's gone. But he knocks it back. This is why the Chiefs have so many takeaways this season. 20 on the year. They're always emphasizing in practice getting to the ball.
That 20 leads the NFL. Now they have 8 giveaways, so a plus 12 turnover differential.
And 12 interceptions.
Nice play of the drive. Newton fires it again with a flag thrown back at the 37. Gaines and Peters.
Holding. Number 68 offense. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
That's Andrew Norwell, the starting left guard. Again, changes for Carolina because of the injury to Michael Orr and Ryan Khalil. Gronkowski in at center. Orr is missing his 6th straight game. He's been in the concussion protocol for an extended period of time. Remmers, normally the starting right tackle, has shifted over to left tackle, and Darrell Williams, the young offensive lineman, starts at right tackle.
And what that penalty does, Ian, is it takes them into real iffy field goal range if they don't complete this pass. So a good drive highlighted by a solid read option game. And then it's all kind of nullified by the holding penalty.
And we'll get a timeout here with 10:25 to play. Low scoring first half. Carolina holding on to a 3-0 lead against Kansas City. Carolina with 2 timeouts remaining. Something to keep in mind as well with Andy Lee, the punter, dealing with a hamstring injury. He's also the holder on field goal attempts and extra points. So we'll keep an eye on that dime package here for Kansas City on a 2nd and 20. Newton standing tall in the pocket, throws it, caught along the sideline by Ed Dixon. Jumping the route was Marcus Peters. Dixon with the grab and yards after the catch, 26 in all.
Well, this ball should have been picked off by Peters. He broke in front of Dixon, but the zip on the ball, the arm strength of Newton, got it past Peters and to his intended target.
Carolina in the red zone. 5th in the NFL in touchdown percentage inside the 20. Trying to add to their 3-0 lead. This is the 10th play of the drive for the Panthers. On first down, Newton tosses it. Kelvin Benjamin brought down inside the 5 by Kenneth Acker. It's 1st and goal for Carolina after the 11-yard hookup.
Well, watch the ball perfectly placed to the body of Benjamin, as there's just no way Acker can fight through that large body. Perfect throw by Cam Newton.
From the 4. Carolina with a 3-0 lead. Stewart in the backfield. Newton looking to run it. Newton keeps the legs moving. Newton lunging to the end zone. Touchdown, Carolina. Cam Newton, all 6'5" of him.
And the Chiefs were ready for it too. Jonathan Stewart with a lead block there. Also Norwell, but look at the desire here and the athletic ability to roll over the top of Ron Parker to break the plane and get in the end zone. What a weapon inside the 5-yard line.
Cam Newton, the all-time leader in rushing touchdowns in Panthers history. If it's ever in doubt, just give it to your best power runner. It just happens to be your quarterback. Graham Gano with the extra point.
And he showed just great patience and then great power. And the reaction.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Acura. Precision crafted performance. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Fantastic Beasts, in theaters November 18th.
Cam Newton, 47th career rushing touchdown for the reigning NFL MVP. He said, look, we put ourselves in this hole. They were 1-5. They're not using a telescope. They're not looking big picture. They're looking with a microscope week in, week out. Just get another win. Survive, move on to the next week. And that's been their mentality as a team.
They're playing very focused football so far. Check out the touchdown here by Cam Newton. We got down blocks here by Turner, by Williams. Pull here by Norwell. Jonathan Stewart, 28, is going to lead up into the hole. But look at all the Chiefs are there. There's 4, 5 Chiefs there. And yet Newton keeps his legs going and finds a way into the end zone. And not a 3-pointer. That was a 6-pointer.
Really? I think his foot was actually inside the line. We're going to check that on review. 10-0 lead for Carolina. Kansas City with a 1st and 10 at the 25. 3 tight ends in this formation. Jet sweep, Tyreek Hill. And Hill works his way out of bounds. Good enough for a 1st down. A 12-yard pickup for Hill. So far, first 3 possessions, interception from Alex Smith, and then punt for the Chiefs.
Kansas City struggling with their rushing attack. That was a good way to start on 1st down. So far, Spencer Ware, 4 carries for just 17 yards. And remember, he had 1 for 12, so Panthers doing a good job on Ware.
We asked Alex Smith about the rookie Tyreek Hill. He said, it's not that he's just fast. He does other things. He's acrobatic in the way he plays. Every time he touches the ball, he has a chance to score. Flat down. Smith throws it downfield. In the area was James O'Shaughnessy. It's incomplete. Penalty marker thrown at the 37.
Offside, number 90 defense, 5-yard penalty, remains 1st down.
It's the veteran Paul Soliai called offside. So they'll move the football 5 yards for Kansas City. 1st and 5 now for the Chiefs. Andy Reid, his 4th year with Kansas City, 18th year overall as a head coach. Of course, 14 years with Philadelphia. Not just Ron Rivera on that staff, but Carolina defensive coordinator Sean McDermott. Spent 12 years with the Eagles. Toss it to the outside, and Hill is hit immediately. Combination of McClain and Kuechly. Take you back to that Philadelphia coaching staff. Andy Reid was the head man. Ron Rivera was the linebackers coach. Sean McDermott, initially the assistant defensive backs coach. Even before that, he was really a gopher. He was the assistant to the head coach. He would pick up players at the airport. He would get copies. He would do anything just to be in the NFL. He worked his way up. Eventually the defensive coordinator in Philly, and now working for Ron Rivera in Carolina.
And both Rivera and Reid predict he'll be a head coach real soon.
Handoff to Ware, and he's wrestled down. 3-yard pickup. Soliai and Charles Johnson collaborate on the hit.
Well, that's what Ware brings, though. He's got the size at 230, vision. He runs through tackles, and what a lot of people don't know, because of his baseball background, he can throw the football. It's always another option for Andy Reid in his multifaceted offense.
Jamal Charles placed on injured reserve again. Right knee, hasn't fully recovered from his torn ACL. had to have a procedure done, and just tough stretch for the Pro Bowler Jamal Charles. Shake and bake move by West, trying to get to the marker. And he does. First down for Kansas City. James Bradbury got him down low. Thomas Davis with a hit on Alex Smith.
Well, watch the move there on Bradbury with one hand right around the knee. Is going to bring down Ware, but good balance there that time to pick up the first down. And then the hit on Alex Smith, totally legal because he's a runner now on that option, and Thomas Davis takes advantage of a free shot on the quarterback.
Fresh set of downs for Kansas City. We're down to 6:24 to go in this first half. 10-0 lead for Carolina. 4-game winning streak for the Chiefs. Smith over the middle. Open man! Kelsey on a low throw could not secure it, and it's incomplete.
Well, because he's so good with the run after the catch, that's what he's thinking here. Reaching down, watch how his head was turning up to see where he was on the field. Got to make that catch, though. That was a perfect throw, just a little low, but still a ball that Kelsey will tell you every time he should have made that catch is Ware visits the trainers.
Remember, Spencer Ware is coming off the concussion. Just went to the sideline for Kansas City.
1-7, thank you.
Reset of the game clock, 6:17 to go in this second quarter. Chiefs will go empty here on a 2nd and 10 on a 5-receiver set for Alex Smith, who's 5 of 9 for just 20 yards and a pick in this first half. Flag comes down.
Start, number 72, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
It is Eric Fisher, number 1 pick back in 2013, called on the false start.
Go back to the incompletion to Kelsey. Watch Ware here. He's after the play fake. He's going to come over and help on the pass blocking. Runs into his own man actually twice. First Zach Fulton and then Eric Fisher.
Ware still has his helmet on. Jarkandrick West is in there for Kansas City now on a 2nd and 15. Working out of the gun. Smith underneath Ross Travis. And he's angled out of bounds short of midfield. 5-yard pickup with NFL Mobile. Stream live local Sunday afternoon primetime games and NFL Red Zone right on your mobile device. Learn more at NFL.com/mobile.
He talked about how poorly the Chiefs are converting third downs. Zion just 1 of 4 here in the first half. With 6 minutes to go. This is a critical one, trailing by 10.
And now the helmet is off for Spencer Ware. Just 2 losses on the season for Kansas City. Lost to Houston week 2 and Pittsburgh week 4. This is a 3rd and 10. Smith out of the pocket. On the move, Smith sets the feet, throws it to the sideline, and nobody home. Sliding attempt by Kuechly. Albert Wilson in the vicinity for Kansas City, and the Carolina defense holds once again.
Well, Alex Smith's rush yards are down this year, but he's developed more of a personality of looking for his receivers than taking off. There's a lot of yardage to make on that at 10 yards, so he wisely, trying to find a receiver, had to throw it away.
So another punt for Dustin Colquitt. Ted Ginn, 4 career punt returns for touchdowns. Standing at the 15 for Carolina. Fair catch. Brings it in cleanly at the 13-yard line, and that's where the Panthers will have it. 39-yard punt, well placed by Colquitt. 10-0 lead for Carolina. Tomorrow, Matt LeBlanc is the man with a plan in the hilarious new comedy right after a new Kevin Can Wait. That's tomorrow, only CBS. Bank of America Stadium opened back in 1996. Home of the Panthers. Carolina's got a 10-0 lead on Kansas City with the football on a 1st and 10. Newton on a low throw. Greg Olsen is there. Did he get it on a bounce or was it clean? They're moving the chains.
And the officials ruled that he did make the catch. And we will take a look at it as the Panthers trying to go to the line of scrimmage. He made the catch beautifully.
Two of the best tight ends in the NFL, and Olsen is doing it year in and year out with those soft hands. Two-time Pro Bowler. 48 catches on the season. Stewart trying to get to the outside. A cut by Stewart as he crosses the 30-yard line. Zombo and Wilson combined. It's a 5-yard pickup for Stewart.
Excellent first half for Cam Newton. He got things started on a bootleg for 28 yards. Then he picks up a first down on the read option. Zips this 26-yarder to Ed Dixon, and then he'll power it in from 4 yards out for the touchdown. 8 of 15 passing for 94 and another 44 on the ground.
2nd and 5 for the Panthers. We approach 4 minutes to go in this first half. Newton, a cannon, good hands. Benjamin, first down grab out to midfield, working against Steven Nelson. 18 yards on the pass play.
What a tremendous tandem Newton and Benjamin are because of the ability like this. You can't be any in better coverage than Steve Nelson is here. Right on the back, not interfering, but the ball thrown out in front and a little bit high to take advantage of the 6'5" Kelvin Benjamin.
We asked Cam Newton about Benjamin's improvement now in his 3rd year in the league. IR all of last year. He said it hasn't been necessarily on the field, it's been off the field. Preparation, watching tape, watching Antonio Brown and Larry Fitzgerald, Julio Jones. Underneath, and a rare drop by Olsen.
Well, he makes a tremendous catch on the first play of this drive. And you can almost see his eyes come off that ball, wondering where Parker is. And not securing the catch.
Carolina gave up a 3rd-round pick to Chicago to get Greg Olsen back in 2011. Turned out to be a lopsided deal.
Chicago doesn't like tight ends, huh?
I guess not.
Tellus Bennett. Greg Olsen.
3:31 to go in this first half. Toss it to Stewart. Kansas City hems him in with Ron Parker leading that charge for the Chiefs defense. No gain on the play for the former Oregon Duck, Jonathan Stewart.
And he was a great Duck, too. 2 timeouts left for Cam and the 2-minute warning if they can get that far. But the field goal situation really comes into effect now if they can't get the first down.
Andy Lee did hold on the point after attempt, but he is not in the physical shape to kick it right now. And a jump by D4 trying to get the edge.
Neutral zone infraction. Number 55 defense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That makes a 3rd and long. Half as far to go now for Andy Reid's defense. Trying to get to that 10th sack. Remember, he had one in the first quarter that was nullified because of a penalty. Andy Reid very smartly laminated his play sheet there.
He did.
Because of the rain.
Dan, very astute analysis by you. Lamination in wet weather is key for play callers.
Thank you very much.
3rd and 5. Shotgun for Newton. Newton tosses to the sideline, feeding the football to Kelvin Benjamin for a first down.
A lot of man-to-man coverage played by Bob Sutton's secondary here, and they're getting burned. He only needs 5 yards now because of that penalty. Runs a 7-yard route. Timing is perfect and picks up the first down.
4 catches now, 50 yards for Kelvin Benjamin. And we're going to hit the 2-minute warning in a half that's been controlled by Carolina. Panthers trying to add to their lead, currently up 10-0 on the Chiefs. Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report. JB and the gang, the latest NFL scores and highlights, all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. 2 minutes to play, first half. Newton on a 1st and 10, has the time. Newton delivers, end zone, touchdown, Devin Funchess. Cam Newton with a strike on a long ball, 38 yards.
Just tremendous pass protection for Newton. This makeshift offensive line with Orr out and Khalil out. Watch what they do to the front 4 of the Chiefs. Nobody near Newton, and watch Funchess reach out over the top of Marcus Peters for the score. Again, another tall receiver at 6'4". Funchess uses his hands to shorten the distance. Touchdown. Panthers.
Third touchdown of the season for Devin Funchess. Extra point, Gano just curved it through to give Carolina a 17-0 lead. Devin Funchess going upstairs. The Carolina Panthers are pitching the shutout. A lot of celebrating in this first half in Charlotte.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by American Express. This Small Business Saturday, get out and shop small. And by Intel. Upgrade to a new PC with powerful performance.
Nice job, mountain biking. Is there a reason why I got the little guy and you got the big guy on that bike tandem?
It's a father and son thing.
Oh, really?
Yes, lad.
Thanks so much, Dad.
I had trouble keeping up with you.
Cam Newton, 77 yards on that drive. And Carolina has built a 17-0 lead. Niall Davis, the return man, off the kick by Gano. This one sends Davis deep in the end zone. He'll take a knee. Kansas City will have it at the 25-yard line. Let's check out our Fouts Focus.
Just one misstep here by Marcus Peters. Funchess comes down to the post, but keep your eye on Marcus Peters. That little hesitation there misses the bump, which would have been illegal anyway. Ball slightly underthrown, but Funchess reaching back. But just a tiny misstep by Peters makes the difference, as Newton had time to find Funchess at the goal line.
Dan, Kansas City has been held to 69 total yards in the first half. What has to change here for the Chiefs?
Just about everything. Number one, they got to come back and establish the run in the second half to allow Alex Smith a chance to get the ball off the play action down the field.
Charkandrick West is in there. No Spencer Ware. Connection made to Chris Conley. And a first down across the 35, covering 12 yards. We check it with Evan Washburn.
Well, and Ware is available. We saw the previous possession, heated discussion with athletic trainers and doctors. It was more caution than anything. A player coming off a concussion, they wanted to take a second look. He is available to go back in.
All right, Evan, he missed last week's game with that concussion.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
It is Mitchell Schwartz on the false start. Ware comes in fourth in the NFL yards from scrimmage per game at just under 118. 24 yards rushing for Ware, 2 catches for 6 yards. So that's just a total of 30 yards in the first half for the third-year running back out of LSU.
And if he can't go, it's fortunate the Chiefs retain the rights to Niall Davis. He's active and ready to go today.
Shotgun for Smith on a 1st and 15. Working to West in the flat, and he flattens some players and some sideline personnel. Flag thrown. Thomas Davis. Davis in enemy territory along that Kansas City sideline. 2 flags on the play.
This is so unnecessary, but Thomas Davis, a 12-year vet, West was heading out of bounds. He had no idea about turning up the field.
After the runner was out of bounds, unnecessary roughness, number 58, defense. 15 yards will be added to the end of the play. Automatic first down.
You can even see West's eyes looking for the relief of the sideline. Chain marker man goes down.
He lost his glasses. So 1st and 10 for Kansas City out near midfield. A minute 26 to play in this first half. Chiefs average 23 points per game, 15th in the NFL. They have been shut out so far. Smith to Albert Wilson. Yards after the catch as he ducks out of bounds in Carolina territory. Darrell Worley, rookie out of West Virginia over there. 5-yard gain for Wilson on the short pop.
Yeah, it's Chris Conley with a good block. Tyreek Hill rather, right in front of him. And Wilson takes it to the sideline to stop the clock. 3 timeouts still for the Chiefs.
This is the first play for Kansas City in Carolina territory. That 15-yard penalty, that was actually the longest play for Kansas City in the first half. Spencer Ware is back in there. He sets up to the side of Smith. Out of the pocket. Smith tosses it away. Luke Kuechly in pursuit. Ron Rivera said that Kuechly reminds him of Mike Singletary and Brian Urlacher in the way he communicates.
That looked so much like both those great players, telling his teammates what he's anticipating and then making a play on it.
Rivera said that Thomas Davis has benefited from that communication, has become a better player because of what they had going chemistry-wise. Toss to Albert Wilson. Spin move, trying to extend the arm to the marker. And he's short. Trey Boston there defensively. We're down to 1 minute to play in this first half, and it's 4th down for Kansas City.
Yeah, decision time now. Randy Reed, and
it's more than a yard, too. It's 4th and a little less than 2.
Bring in a couple of tight ends along with fullback Anthony Sherman. And they're going to talk about it.
46 seconds to play in the second quarter. Carolina up 17-0. 4th down, a little less than 2 yards for Kansas City. They need to get to the 43-yard line to keep this drive alive. Ja Reed is in as an extra offensive lineman. Very dangerous. If you don't make it, Carolina has time and timeouts. Sherman shifts to the backfield. Toss it. Ware, he's got the angle. First down and a little bit extra. Chris Conley with a good block as Ware works it along the perimeter. 9 yards, 44 seconds to go.
Well, Smith fakes the ball here and then pitches it to Ware. Really well-designed play. Look at the linebackers trying to read where Ware may end up. Kuechly misread that play along with his teammates. Great call by Andy Reid.
It's all 1st and 10 now at the 35. Ware remains in there. Smith tosses it underneath, and it's Charkandrick West with the catch, and he's out of bounds. 4 yards on the short hookup. Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, Coach Coward. Scores and highlights all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Cam Newton has led his team to 17 points, 229 yards of offense in the first half. Nearly as many yards as they produced in the entire game last week in Los Angeles. Alex Smith, 11 of 17, 51 yards and an interception. Tyreek Hill, the multi-dimensional rookie in the backfield. Smith throws it to Hill. Good enough for a first down. Pushed out by Worley. We're down to 33 seconds to play in this second quarter.
And you go back to the personal foul against Thomas Davis on Charkandrick West. Kept the drive alive. And now you're starting to see the offensive line of the Chiefs giving Smith time and smart decision making by ball carriers, getting out of bounds and stopping the clock, preserving those 2 timeouts.
Just 1 rush on this drive. It was on 4th down when Ware got the necessary yards, and flags come down.
Number 76, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Larry Duvernay-Tardif, the Canadian.
So many offsides by the offensive linemen. Schwartz, a couple of times, Fisher, and now the Frenchman.
Well,
French-Canadian.
There you go.
Thank you. From McGill. That's in Canada.
Geography major at Oregon?
Minor. Very minor.
1st and 15, 33 seconds left. From the 30, Smith operating out of the gun. Smith steps up, slammed down! Stayed upright and then lost the ball as it was whistle dead. Addison and Johnson. Smith would not go down initially.
Well, the pocket's going to collapse as Addison comes in, grabs him by the side of the helmet. That is a face mask penalty.
Thank you.
That is not called by the officials.
So the Panthers catch a break. Smith clearly got yanked by that face mask, and instead they face a second down and 19.
Sometimes I think the umpire and the referee are so concerned with watching for holding And sometimes they can't see what the defense does sometimes to the quarterback in the pocket. Did not grab the face mask, but you can't grab the opening of the helmet anywhere.
Last 2 weeks, Carolina has really amped up their rush to the quarterback. 12 sacks last 2 games. Smith. Timing play to Albert Wilson. Making a beeline to the perimeter, and he gets out of bounds with 21 seconds left. So they get back a lot of that yards they lost in the sack. Give him a gain of 10 on the play.
And one of the things that the Chiefs wide receivers do so well is they block for each other. That time Tyreek Hill got just enough of a block to give Wilson the chance to get out of bounds.
Third and 9 for Kansas City. Smith. Another sack. Addison. He has been on a tear.
That's 4.5 sacks now for number 97, working against Eric Fisher. Good solid tackle that time. Let's see if Smith had anybody open there. Tyreek Hill is double covered at the goal line. Albert Wilson also covered at the goal line. Good job of the secondary of the Panthers.
And a 47-yard attempt for Cairo Santos. Luke Rosa Award winner back in 2012. Best kicker in the nation that year out of Tulane. Trying to get points on the board. Colquitt will hold it. James Winchester will snap it from 47 yards away. Santos knocks it through with 9 seconds on the clock. 17-3, Carolina in front. 12 plays, 46 yards. It took 1:43 for Kansas City. Had to settle for the field goal from Santos, who now kicks it off with 10 seconds left. They try a second on the clock. It goes over the head of Fozzie Whitaker. Panthers will have it at the 25-yard line, now leading 17-3. Penalties an issue for Kansas City in that first half. 7 for 35 yards.
And 3 against the defense, but 4 on the offense. All false starts against the offensive line.
Cam Newton will take a knee here. Has a touchdown through the air, has a rushing touchdown as well. And the Panthers hit the locker room with a 17-3 advantage, trying to bring this winning streak to 3 in a row. Kansas City has won 4 straight. The Chiefs and the Panthers meeting for just the 6th time in their team's history. Halftime in Charlotte, 17-3, Carolina on top of Kansas City. We'll come back to Verizon Halftime Report after this message and a word from your local station. This is the NFL on CBS. Out of the gun. Newton trying to get out of the pocket. Lunging to the end zone. Touchdown, Carolina. Newton delivers. End zone. Touchdown, Devin Funchess. Getting ready for the start of the second half in Charlotte. Carolina 17, Kansas City 3. Time for the Head and Shoulders. Shoulders of Greatness highlight. It's brought to you by Head and Shoulders.
Unstoppable Cam Newton inside the 5-yard line from 4 yards out. Gets in behind Norwell there that rolls over Parker for the score. But Ian, really the key for Cam Newton, when he's playing like this, the Panthers are unbeatable. When he can run the ball as well as he has so far today, it really equalizes things for the defense and tips the scales in the favor of the Panthers, literally. Because normally quarterbacks don't run or block, so that's 11 against 10. But with Newton, it's more than 11 against 11 sometimes.
Ian Eagle, Dan Fouts, Evan Washburn down on the sidelines. Carolina's trying to take a page out of Kansas City's book from last year. Chiefs were 1-5. They then ran the table, made the playoffs. Panthers open the season 1-5, but we still know how dangerous this Carolina team is. You have to consider them part of the playoff picture, and they believe they're getting on a roll right now.
Well, they have 9 Pro Bowlers returning from last season, and when this young man can play as he has in this first half, a role they are on, having won 2 in a row, and now with a couple of home games, thinking they can get all the way back to 500.
Carolina will be home for New Orleans on Thursday night. And then at Oakland, week 12, Kansas City will receive the football to open up this second half. The Chiefs, one of the hottest teams in the league, at 6-2 with 4 straight wins. Cano kicks it off. Niall Davis is going to take it out of the end zone. And Davis is out of bounds. So not much there as Zach Sanchez chased him down. We check in with Evan Washburn on the field.
The Lions spoke with Ron Rivera. He's most pleased with the energy his team played with and how efficient they were offensively. Defensively, it's all about what they're doing on third down, keeping KC 1 for 7 on third down. Ask about Andy Lee. He can no longer punt due to that right hamstring. It doesn't affect decision-making. Confident in Graham Gano as a punter, and Kansas City Andy Reid was unavailable for comment, guys.
Got some wacky weather here in Charlotte. It is very sunny now. After rain prior to the game, saw a little sprinkling in the first half. Passes to Albert Wilson underneath. James Bradbury, the rookie out of Samford, over there defensively. 6-yard gain. First half stats, 110 total yards. Carolina doubles up Kansas City in that department.
Yeah, and the key, as Evan was talking about, Kansas City's inability to keep drives alive. And that's why they only have 3 points in that first half.
2nd and 4 now for Kansas City. Running play, squeezing through. It's Spencer Ware. First down, Chiefs just short of the 30-yard line. Blocks from Morse and Schwartz up front.
That was a statement type of run by Ware. He's been frustrated in the first half. Had to leave the game as they were checking on whether he might have had a concussion. But that type of run there will pick him up and his offensive line.
Physical running style. His calling card is yards after contact. Spencer Ware, who was a high school quarterback in Eunice, Louisiana. Kelsey's been limited. Just 1 catch. Off the hands of Albert Wilson. Remember, Kansas City is playing without Jeremy Maclin, who's out with a groin injury he suffered on the first series offensively for KC last week.
This is Thomas Davis getting right in. It's inexcusable that he is turned loose here. Ware came over, and normally it is the running back's responsibility to pick up a blitzing linebacker.
Carolina in the dime with Griffin and McClain, a pair of veterans. 2nd and 10 for Kansas City. First possession of this third quarter. They trail Carolina 17-3. Smith short drop. Throw it to the outside, and Tyreek Hill. 2 defenders over there. Bradbury and McClain combined. 9-yard gain through the air for the rookie.
That's a winning effort there by Tyreek Hill. Could have gone out of bounds, had 2 defenders staring him right in the face. He just lowered his head, split the defenders, and picked up extra yards there to bring up a very desirable 3rd down and short after that 9-yard reception.
Hill was a high school track star in Pearson, Georgia. Georgia state champion in the 100 and 200. Give it to Ware. And a crowd. Somebody lost their hat on the play. It was K1 Short. Thomas Davis, the first man to smack Ware. 2-yard gain. We asked Andy Reid about the relationship with Ron Rivera. He said, look, we stay in touch. We normally get together for dinner over the course of the year. Called Rivera a very smart guy. Not surprised that he got to a head coaching level. Coached the linebackers under Reid back in their Philadelphia days. Charkandrick West is in now for Kansas City. Fake it. Smith. What about the deep ball instead? Checks it down to West. And he's spun down on the play. by the ageless veteran Thomas Davis Sr. No gain.
Now DeAnthony Thomas is also in the backfield here. Here's the outlet on one side. Here's the outlet on the other side. Unfortunately for the Chiefs, Smith decides to throw it to West, and there's nobody down here for DeAnthony Thomas.
2nd and 10 for Kansas City. Just 72 yards through the air for KC. 5 receivers set. Working out of the gun, Smith steps up, has some room. And Smith will go down, not taking any chances. He was asked about how he'll adjust his game based on the injury from a couple of weeks ago. He said, I'll slide sooner.
That's good advice he gave himself there. And by sliding head first early, you get all the yardage until the defender gets to you. You slide feet first, you only get as far as you get when you get down. So smart play on both portions of that by Alex Smith.
4-yard gain for Smith. Brings up 3rd and 6 for the Chiefs. Smith, rainbow down the sideline over the head of Hill. And it's 4th down for Kansas City. Darryl Worley in coverage. The 3rd-round draft pick. And the Chiefs drive stalls at the 10:37 mark of the 3rd.
And that's another good job by Darryl Worley, the rookie. James Bradbury, the rookie corner on the other side. Both of them are being tested and turning away the Chiefs wide receivers.
They have held up well here today in this matchup. Colquitt to punt it. Ted Ginn calls for the fair catch. Inside the 10. Good punt coverage downfield. It's a 48-yard punt. Cam Newton, his first shot at the KCD in the second half. Neck injury for Kansas City corner Philip Gaines. His return is questionable. Kenneth Acker is in there to replace him. First down throw. Off the hands of Kelvin Benjamin. Incomplete. First half possessions for the Panthers. They opened up with a field goal after a long drive. Had a couple of punts and 2 touchdowns on a Cam Newton run and a Cam Newton throw.
A couple of long drives too. That really tells you the focus of this Panther offense today. Rarely do you see drives that long on.
Gaines, tough 3rd-year quarterback from Rice, does not have his helmet on the sideline. Stewart makes a move to the outside. Kenneth Acker getting down low to bring him down. 4-yard gain for Jonathan Stewart. Powerful 5'10", 240 pounds.
9 carries so far for just 31 yards though. Acker came up and had to go real low, didn't he?
He did. Newton's actually the leading rusher with 43 yards. 1 run covered 28 yards. 6 defensive backs. Nelson and Sorensen. Stewart flanks. Newton throws it underneath. And caught right at the 20. And good enough for a Carolina first down. Devin Funchess.
Now we've seen Newton throw the ball to the body of Benjamin. Watch this ball to Funchess. Again, Nelson right on his back, but can't do anything because of the size of Funchess, who's 6'4", 225. Ball placement, so important.
New set of downs for Carolina with a 1st and 10 at the 20. Got it down to the 9-minute mark of the 3rd quarter. 17-3, the Panthers leading the Chiefs. Play clock down to 1. There's a handoff to Stewart. And runs into a crowded defensive line. Penalty flag on the play. Thrown on the far side at the 18. Busy man today, Carl Cheffers.
Illegal formation. Number 84 and 13 were in illegal positions. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
And it's the 4th penalty against Ron Rivera's squad. Carolina trying to get lined up. Kansas City will adjust defensively on a 1st and 15 now for the Panthers. Out of the gun. Newton hooks a pass underneath. Ted Ginn with the catch. And he is stacked up at the 25 by Marcus Peters. NFL Today update. JB and the coach.
Halftime adjustments.
Yeah, done by Sean Payton. You see right here, keeps a tight end in, give Drew Brees some time to throw the ball. He finds Brandon Cooks from 37 yards out. That sets up a Brees to Willie Snead touchdown. And it's all tied up down in the Superdome. 10-10.
All right, Ian and Dan.
And New Orleans picking it up now, 4-4 on the season. Kelvin Benjamin, the intended target, and Steven Nelson propelled his body in the way to break it up.
Well, this is good defense by Nelson, but also the ball thrown behind Benjamin. See how Benjamin had to wait for this. And if Nelson wasn't so concerned about the big body, he might have gotten that right hand up next to his left hand and made the catch on that ball.
Right hand was hugging Benjamin in coverage. And now it's a 3rd and 5 for Carolina. Mike Tolbert is in. Motion man is Ginn. Running point for Newton. Newton plows across the 30-yard line. It's a 1st down. What a weapon on the ground. I know that they're hesitant to call design runs to expose Newton, but he is so dangerous.
And a good double team here by Turner and Williams. And Newton's going to get right in behind it. Norwell comes over on the pull, but clearing the way and driving Ramik Wilson down the field. 1st down.
Needed 5, they get 6, and they keep the drive moving. 2 tight ends with Olsen and Dixon. And Newton's going to call the timeout at the 7:15 mark of the 3rd. Carolina has 2 remaining. They're up 14 at home against KC.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Garmin Fitness. Let's beat yesterday. And by AutoTrader. Find your perfect new, used, or certified car on AutoTrader.
That kid was framed. Clearly. Happy birthday.
Number 9. It's a big one.
It's the 1st and 10 for Carolina. After the timeout. A juke move there by Stewart. Falls forward to the 35. The dual threats through the years. Quarterbacks with over 20,000 yards passing, 3,000 yards rushing. Elway, Tarkenton, McNabb, Young, McNair, Cunningham, Vick, and Cam Newton. He went over that 20,000 mark today. Second and 6 for the Panthers. Stewart straight ahead. 3 yards. Nunez Roaches in on the stop for Kansas City, and it sets up 3rd and 3 now for Carolina.
Carolina's been excellent converting their 3rd downs today, 4 out of 7. It's because they've done so well on 1st and 2nd down. They haven't had to face a lot of 3rd and longs so far in this ball game.
They have rushed for at least 100 yards in 38 of their last 40 games. Didn't do it last week. They're at 88 yards rushing today. We'll hit the 6-minute mark of the 3rd quarter. 3rd and 3. Newton tosses to Olsen for the 1st down. Carolina on the move. 4 yards on the pass and enough to move the chains.
Well, Olsen knew exactly what he needed. He ran beyond the yard to gain. Pulls in that catch and absorbs a big hit from Eric Berry, but that's 3 for 3 now on this drive on 3rd downs.
1st and 10 for Carolina, using a lot of clock. 5:22 and counting remaining in the 3rd. Stewart sets up as a receiver. Newton looks that way, then tosses over the middle, incomplete. Had Dixon, the intended target. Derek Johnson in coverage for the Chiefs. Tonight, now that Donald Trump is the president-elect, he's going to do one big interview. Where? Where else? 60 Minutes tonight, only CBS.
Yeah, the Chiefs saw that empty backfield. They decided to bring the blitz. Frank Zombo came, along with D. Ford, of course, and they both got to Newton and forced that poor throw.
Ready!
2nd and 10 for the Panthers. Then they line up. Here they come. Newton gets rid of it. Right to midfield. And the connection made with Kelvin Benjamin. 8 yards. Marcus Peters there with Benjamin.
It just seems like they can do this all day long. Just a little slant route, throw it to the body of the receiver, whether it's Funchess or Benjamin. Newton again with perfect ball placement, and nothing Marcus Peters can do about it.
Alex Smith just waiting for his chance. His team is down by 14. Benjamin less than 90 yards receiving in each of his last 6 games. He's got 58 yards here. Newton does it himself. He didn't get it. It was 3rd and short. Now what do you do? 4th down. And an injured Kansas City Chief on the play, Dontari Poe, not getting up. Needs some help. And Poe is on his feet.
Well, Poe had, looked like it was 3 guys blocking him on that quarterback sneak.
And that injury gives Ron Rivera some time to think about the prospects on a 4th down. 4th and 1 for Carolina. They are just across midfield in Kansas City's end of the field at the 49.
4th and 1. 1 is a key number here. The guy wearing number 1 would be a good choice.
They'll get a measurement here.
Especially now with Poe going out, be replaced by David King, 2nd-year player at the nose tackle position. Why wouldn't you give it to Newton? Not only can he drive with his legs, he can reach over the top of the pile and stretch it out to pick up the 1st down.
It's not even a yard. You're talking about the length of the football. And the offense will remain on the field. There's some blood on that right arm for Cam Newton and a little bit on the back of his pants. 13th play of the drive. Chris Scott in as an extra offensive lineman. 4th and less than a yard for Carolina. Newton pushing the pile. Needed less than a yard. And from this angle, it appeared he got it. Tolbert got in on the push with Newton. Carolina indicating it should be enough for the 1st down. Waiting for the official word as they will bring out the chain gang. On 4th and less than a yard, Carolina goes for it. And they've got it. The drive continues for the Panthers with 4:11 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, the Chiefs do a good job of stuffing him initially, but now the Panthers start to push. Watch Tolbert come in, and that may have been just enough to get Newton the 1st down.
They have used nearly 7 minutes off the clock. This is Carolina's first possession of the 2nd half.
And this is a demoralizing drive for the Chief defense.
Newton out of the gun. Newton fires it. Kelvin Benjamin couldn't hold on. Looked like Benjamin had it working against Peters.
Well, let's see if Peters gets his hands in here. Yeah, that right hand just kind of chopped the ball away from Benjamin. Perfect timing by Peters.
And Peters still kneeling down as the medical staff comes out to check on the Pro Bowl corner. We'll step aside here in the third quarter. Marcus Peters now on the sideline for Kansas City. Remember, Philip Gaines got banged up with a neck injury. Ron Parker is versatile. They'll use him in a couple of different spots. Look at Corey Brown. And he's brought down by Steven Nelson, limited to a 3-yard gain through the air. Let's check it with Evan Washburn. Evan?
Well, guys, you mentioned Philip Gaines. He has his helmet back on, but they're still addressing that neck injury that he suffered earlier in this game. He wants to get back in there, but again, the athletic trainer's testing him, and they are still keeping him out of this ball game at the moment.
All right, Evan. Ron Parker is lining up at corner. 16th play of the drive. Throws it to the sideline. It's caught by Ginn. Out of bounds. Another first down, working against Parker.
That's just heads-up coaching by Mike Shula, recognizing the safety Parker, who has played corner in his career, but this is his first play today at cornerback, and that's exactly where the Panthers attack with his pass to Ginn.
So the 14 yards, the longest play of this drive. Cam Newton converts. And first down, Newton throwing. Another sideline toss to Devin Funchess. Marcus Peters back in there, but moving a bit gingerly for Kansas City.
Yeah, it appeared they were working on his leg on the sidelines. And again, you go after the wounded player or the substitute after Parker on the first play, and then the second play after Peters.
Bob Sutton's defensive unit trying to hold up here. Carolina already has a 14-point lead. Newton to run it. Newton trying to get to the edge, takes a shot. Eric Berry. And those two know one another, Berry and Newton. Eric Berry was at Creekside High School. Cam Newton, Westlake High School. It was the Seminoles against the Lions back in their high school days. Eric Berry said, well, now it's the Chiefs and the Panthers. Names change, but same matchup.
That was helmet to helmet, but it's legal because Newton was a ball carrier.
And Berry was a quarterback back in his high school days. Newton in trouble. He's brought down. D. Ford. So Cam Newton renewing old acquaintances on back-to-back plays.
Former Auburn teammates on the national championship team. Tremendous rush that time. He gets around Darrell Williams. D. Ford with another sack, number 10 on the season.
So now a 3rd and 18 for Carolina. We're down to a minute 14 left in the third quarter. 20th play of the drive for the Panthers. On 3rd and long. Newton thrown down. Chris Jones gets to the quarterback and forces Carolina out of field goal range. Big play for the Kansas City D.
Here he is right here, and he's going to beat the block of Trey Turner. And this will force the Panthers out of field goal range. Big sack that time by Chris Jones, the rookie, his 2nd of the season.
2nd round pick from Mississippi State. How about that? 20 plays on the drive, and they didn't even get a field goal attempt. Forget about points. With a touchdown, they couldn't even get an attempt. Graham Gano punting for the injured Andy Lee, and it goes to the end zone. The 20 plays, the most in Panthers history, and nothing to show for it. Kansas City has it at the 20-yard line after the sack and punt.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Nissan. Innovation that excites.
That was a 20-play drive that took over 10 minutes, and Ron Rivera's team had to punt. An oddity. 18 seconds left in the quarter. Timing was off with Tyreek Hill in a matchup with James Bradbury. Only 137 yards of offense for the Kansas City Chiefs. 16 seconds remain in the third quarter. It's 17-3 Carolina.
And 16 completions for Alex Smith for just 81 yards. No touchdowns, 1 interception.
Can't go 3 and out here. That would be demoralizing after the defense was on the field for 10-plus minutes. Smith. Open man is Tyreek Hill. Oh, he stays on his feet. And Hill's got major speed. Out of bounds across the 45. Darrell Worley could not bring him down, and Hill made him pay for 27 yards.
Great balance. There's the hit by Worley. Just spun Hill around. And a big play for the Chiefs. Just what they need.
End of the third quarter, 17-3 Carolina. You're watching the NFL on CBS. As part of today's Salute to Service game, Panther players are wearing a decal with the initials of a fallen service member on their helmets. The servicemen and women were honored in a video tribute, and their families were welcomed onto the field to receive a helmet signed by the player prior to today's action. Gain of about a yard on the play, and in honor of Veterans Day, for every point scored during the NFL's 32 Salute to Service games, the league will donate $1,000 to its military nonprofit partners, including the Pat Tillman Foundation, USO, and Wounded Warrior Project. To join the salute and learn more, visit NFL.com/salute. Kelsey with the catch. Kelsey goes airborne, and it's good enough for a first down. 11 yards on the catch and run. And the extra hurdle from the athletic Kelsey. Kansas City moving quickly here. We are just underway in the fourth quarter. 17-3 Carolina leading Kansas City. Chiefs riding a 4-game winning streak. Panthers have won back-to-back games after starting the season 1-5. To the ground game, Spencer Ware trying to sidestep a tackler and could not. Short and Johnson combined. No gain on the play for Ware.
Yeah, pass 2 completions for Alex Smith, getting it to his playmakers, Tyreek Hill and now Travis Kelsey. That was just Kelsey's second catch of the day. Such a weapon with the ball in his hands after the catch.
Charkandrick West is now in there on a 2nd and 10. Loads it up, Smith fires, and it is hauled in inside the 30 to Tyreek Hill. 14 yards on the hookup.
That's 6 catches now for Hill. That's a tough one too, with Bradbury draped over his back. But again, a smart throw by Alex Smith away from the defense. And Hill with a tough one.
First down for the Chiefs. Smith from the gun. Quick throw to the outside. Hill gets leveled on the play by Worley, but Hill again dangerous after the catch. And that one covers 10 yards.
Well, you know, you get him one-on-one, and it puts the defense in a bind. He's got good quickness. We've seen his speed, but what I liked on that play was the power that he showed to pick up the first down, because he was tackled before the yard to gain.
Carolina did not get points on the previous possession, so this game's still within 2 scores for Kansas City. 17-3, the Panthers in front. Smith guns it. Incomplete. Chris Conley looking for a flag against James Bradbury. He didn't get one.
See a frustrated Travis Kelsey, and we'll show you why. Mix up in the secondary for the Panthers. And watch number 87 going to the corner. There's nobody back there but him.
Second and 10 for Kansas City. Smith lets it fly. End zone, too high, and he had Conley open.
Well, this is another corner route, and Conley again is turned loose by the secondary of the Panthers. You can see Boston coming over there and talking to Worley, but Smith is talking to himself.
3rd and 10 for Kansas City. From the gun, Smith rifles it, and it's dropped. Ross Travis. And the field goal unit is coming on for the Chiefs.
Boy, disastrous 3-play series right there. A couple of wide open receivers, one not located, one overthrown, and now a drop pass. Bring out the field goal team for Andy Reid.
Cairo Santos on. This offense has been out of sync all day. 199 total yards for KC. Santos made a 47-yarder. This is a 36-yard attempt. Trying to cut into the Carolina lead. And Santos splits the uprights. 17-6. Panthers. 12:02 to go in the fourth. Kansas City 11 plays, 62 yards, took 3 minutes and 19 seconds. The 36-yard field goal for Santos. The Chiefs now trail 17-6. Kansas City has gone 17-3 in its last 20 games. That's the best record in the NFL over that span. Santos kicks it off. Deep man is Whitaker, and he's not going to take it out of the end zone. Panthers will have it at the 25. Big Ten continues later today on Fox, then tonight, Sunday Night Football on NBC, and tune in tomorrow for Monday Night Football on ESPN. Carolina coming off a 20-play drive where they did not score or even attempt a field goal. They give it to Jonathan Stewart up the middle, and there's not much there. Tamba Hali was all over it, 1 yard or so on the gain. Let's check in with Evan Washburn. Evan?
Well, guys, we saw Marcus Peters go down at the 4-minute mark of the previous quarter. He played through some injury. He was in a ton of pain. The area of concern seems to be his right hip, the upper portion of that leg. He spent the previous series on the bike. There is a wrap on there, but keep an eye on that right hip, guys.
NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2015. Marcus Peters in his second year out of Washington. 2nd and 9 for Carolina. Newton keeps it. Leaves his feet on a lunge for 3 yards. NFL Today update. Let's go to JB, Coach Gower.
Matt Ryan and the Falcons.
Yeah, Matt Ryan's going to find Taylor Gabriel on a double move right here. It's going to go 76 yards for the touchdown. Atlanta will take the lead 15-13. A missed extra point for the Atlanta Falcons. They lead by 2. Philadelphia driving.
10:46 left in regulation. Back to Iron Eagle.
All right, guys. Explosive offense Atlanta has at 6-3. Leading the division. 3rd and 6. Rush is coming. Off his back foot. It's intercepted. Eric Berry has got it for Kansas City. Berry with a spin move, and he's still going. Berry reverses. Eric Berry's got some blockers. Berry looking for the angle, and he's in. Touchdown, Kansas City. What an effort by Berry. Cam Newton victimized.
Well, it was a blitz iron by the Chiefs. They came with 2 safeties, Sorensen and Parker. That allowed Berry to read the pass to Greg Olsen, and then the effort after the catch. He picks up a picket line here. Good block there by Peters to take Whitaker out of the way, and Newton's late to knock him out of the end zone. Tremendous play by Eric Berry. The Chiefs, who lead the NFL in takeaways, get their 13th pick of the year, and it's a pick 6.
He hooked just inside the pylon. High school rivals now playing in the NFL, and it's Berry who wins that battle. 12th career interception, his 4th touchdown, 42 yards on the return, and Kansas City has life. It's a 2-point attempt trying to cut this to a 3-point game. They'll shift, and now Smith will operate out of the gun on a 2-point try for KC. Smith throws it wide open. Kelsey. Kansas City has sliced the lead to 3 with 10:32 to go in the fourth. Huge play for the Chiefs defense. Nobody has been better forcing turnovers this season than the Kansas City Chiefs. The defense has kept Kansas City very much alive in Charlotte.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the all-new versatile Honda Ridgeline. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. And by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM.
Kansas City has put up 11 points in the last minute 35. Barry with his first interception return for a touchdown since 2013 at Oakland, fourth of his career. He is a difference maker for this Kansas City D. It's 17-14. Carolina. Santos kicks it off. Whitaker is deep. He's going to take it out a yard deep in the end zone. Whitaker is spun down. Flag is down as he crossed the 15-yard line. DeMarcus Robinson on special teams.
That's DJ Alexander.
Second-year special teamer out of Oregon State. Fifth-round pick in
During the
2015.
return, illegal block in the back. Number 27, return team. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
And the penalty against Robert McLean for the illegal block in the back. Carolina will have the football, but the lead has shrunk to 3. Backup linebacker DJ Alexander got up on his own after getting injured on special teams. He's along the Kansas City sideline. Meanwhile, Carolina opens up at the 9-yard line. Stewart driven backwards on the play by Derek Johnson.
Well, the way to stop Cam Newton and his Panther offense is to blitz him. Watch Sorensen and Parker come in here, and just playing center field is Eric Berry. Ball up for grabs. Berry cuts in front. This is what makes the Chiefs special, though. After the turnover, they're looking to score with it, and that's exactly what number 29 did.
Carolina nursing a 3-point lead now. 9:52 to go in the fourth. Operating out of the gun, Newton will throw it. In stride, Kelvin Benjamin, and it gives the Panthers breathing room. That's a first down. Covers 12 yards against Kenneth Acker.
Really clutch catch and throw. Newton putting the ball out in front. Again, how many slant routes have they completed today? Like anytime they dial one up, they seem to be successful.
Benjamin fell hard on the play. They'll be out for at least this play for Carolina. 6 catches, 70 yards for the Florida State crowd. On first down, running play. Newton pulled it back from Jonathan Stewart. Stewart would have been tossed for a loss. Instead, it turns into a 1-yard gain, but Newton's got to deal with another hit.
Well, this is almost a disaster. Watch how long Newton hangs onto this ball. Pulls it out as he sees Ford make the tackle. First on Stewart, and then he gets in on the tackle on Newton.
2nd and 9 for the Panthers. 93 rushing yards on the day for Carolina. From the gun. Newton. Catch and curl. Olsen. Ramik Wilson did not let him out of his grasp. It's a 5-yard pickup through the air.
Yeah, good tackle by Ramik Wilson. Had a big game last week with an interception and a forced fumble and a fumble recovery. And he brought down the dangerous Greg Olsen after a short game.
Greg Olsen continues to climb the all-time list. Receiving yards for a tight end. This is now a 3rd and 4 for Carolina. Under 8 minutes to play. Newton floats it and nobody home. The Kansas City defense has done its job. Dontari Poe getting in the face of Newton, and it's 4th down.
And remember, Poe was injured earlier in the ball game, and that time he just whipped the center, Gino Gradkowski, and Newton wisely threw it away.
And remember as well that you have Graham Gano punting the ball because Andy Lee suffered a hamstring injury early in this game.
And look who he's punting it to, Tyreek Hill.
Has a return of 50 yards this year on a punt. The punt from Gano. Hill's got room. Hill circles. Getting to the outside. And it is Gano who gets in there and gets the helmet of Hill in the process. 43-yard punt, but a 21-yard return for Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, no hang time at all on that punt by Gano. And somebody ought to tell Gano, don't worry about making a tackle. You're our only kicker now. But the picket line is set up on the far side of the field. And with the speed of Hill, he gets the ball right to midfield before Gano brings him down.
Carolina is allowing 14.4 yards per punt return. That's the second worst in the NFL. Only Chicago has been worse. Kansas City gets an excellent return across midfield. They're at the 49-yard line of Carolina, and they trail by only 3. We have 7:34 remaining in this fourth quarter.
You can just feel momentum, and this crowd getting a little edgy as well. Defense has set this up for Kansas City.
Panthers were up 14. They went on a 20-play drive and could not get any points to make it a 3-possession game. They left the door open for KC. Smith, pump fake. Smith to run. And veers to the sideline. Alex Smith not taking any chances downfield. He'll take the 3-yard gain.
You know, you go back to that 20-play drive that was 10 minutes off the clock. Not even to get a field goal try because of the sack on third down. Something that Panther offense has had too many times this season. The sack on third down takes him out of field goal range.
And the sack on second down.
Yeah.
Set up that third down sack. Now the Panthers were forced to punt. 7:08 to go in the fourth. Give us to Ware. Ware spun down. Looked like he was going to get more. It's a first down as Duvernay Tardif and Anthony Sherman had key blocks.
Here's Duvernay Tardif, and watch his block here, and then the cutback. Beautiful cutback by Ware. He sees the block there on Kuechly, and he's just tripped up, or he might have had a big gain.
50 yards for Ware on the ground with 12 carries. 6:35 to play. Kansas City is inside the Carolina 40, trailing by 3. Smith, deep drop, throws it. Open man is Kelsey. Nice adjustment by Kelsey after the catch. 16 yards on the hookup, brought down by Trey Boston.
A tremendous block by Spencer Ware as he sees Kuechly coming. He takes out Kuechly, and that allows not only time but also a throwing lane for Alex Smith to find Kelsey.
New set of downs for Kansas City. Under 6 minutes to play. Rush coming. Smith gets rid of it to Spencer Ware. And he's ridden along the sideline. Kuechly there with Worley, 5 yards.
And a perfect read by Alex Smith. The blitz by Thomas Davis. That was the outlet receiver right there as Ware takes a shot with a forearm by Kuechly right across the chops.
Second and 5. West is now in, replacing Ware. 3 tight ends in this formation. Running play. West. He's elusive. Couldn't quite get away from McClain. Still picks up 2 yards on the play, maybe 2.5. Cam Newton, a costly interception. Eric Berry returned it for a touchdown. And now Kansas City down by 3, facing a 3rd and 2 with 4:52 and counting remaining in the fourth quarter here in Charlotte. Third and short. Smith launches, end zone, too high for Kelsey. He got his hands on it, and he was open.
Yeah, he's 6'5", very athletic, can really jump. Great move right there to get open, and the ball just sails on Alex Smith.
Cairo Santos comes on looking to tie it with 4:29 to play. It's a 33-yard attempt for Santos. Santos, he's got it. We are knotted up at 17 apiece. Just over 4 minutes left. Alex Smith had Kelsey open just off the fingertips. That would have put Kansas City in front.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Subway. Try the classic Reuben, stacked with corned beef, limited time only. And by Verizon. Welcome to Verizon LTE Advanced, the next-gen network.
Kansas City ready to kick it off. We are all tied up 17-17 with 4:25 to play in the fourth. Joe Webb, Fozzie Whitaker are deep for Carolina. The 14-point lead has evaporated. Deep kick. It's coming out to the 25-yard line for the Panthers. Now, before last week's Salute to Service game, Chiefs players wore sweatshirts with the names of fallen soldiers. On Monday, Chris Conley surprised sixth grader Gage Unger appearing at his school with a sweatshirt honoring his late dad, Corporal David Unger, who was killed in Iraq in 2006. Unger's family was at the middle school for that presentation. Had to be the most popular kid in school that day, with a Kansas City Chiefs showing up. Yeah, the Chiefs have shown up in this second half. 4 minutes and change left for Carolina. All tied up. Newton. And a toss to Fozzie Whitaker. Whitaker bounces off a tackle. Dontari Poe on the chase down. Turns into a 9-yard catch and run for Carolina.
Now that's what Whitaker is all about, is get him the ball in open spaces. Kick returner and a receiving back out of the backfield, lined up as a wide receiver that time. Almost got the first down.
Actually had it. He tried to make that one extra move and it cost him. It's now 2nd and inches for the Panthers. 3:47 to play. Give it to him. He's got the first down, steamrolling across the 40-yard line. Remmers with the block, starting at left tackle for the injured Michael Orr.
Yeah, good double team that time on Chris Jones by Williams and Trey Turner. And Fozzie Whitaker adding a little spark to this offense, just what they need at this point.
They are over 100 yards rushing now, 101 on the day. Dixon sets up in the backfield. Extra protection for Newton. Throws it. Snagged there by Ginn. Well, that's where the improvement has come through the years for Ted Ginn. He was known as a speed guy early in his career. He's become a better, complete, all-around receiver.
And again, reaching out, not letting the ball come all the way to the body makes a difference there, because Steve Nelson is right on his back again.
Ted Ginn, 5 catches, 44 yards. It's a 2nd and 3 for the Panthers. Whitaker, spin move, thrown down. D. Ford pressing the line. Ford handling the run. It's a loss of 2 on the play.
Well, he's totally unblocked. He comes in here. You can see Norwell late getting over there. The speed of D. Ford. That drops Whitaker in the backfield.
Counting down to the 2-minute warning here. 3rd and 5 for Carolina. Panthers are not going to break the huddle. Ball is at the 46 in Panthers territory. Looking for points to get a home win over Kansas City. Coming up, Subway postgame show. JD and the rest of the gang. Scores and highlights all coming up on the Subway postgame show. It's a 3rd and 5 for Carolina. From the gun. Newton throws way too high for Kelvin Benjamin, and the Kansas City defense once again has come through. They force the Panthers into a punt, and the Chiefs are going to get the football with a chance to walk out of here with a W.
And again, it's Graham Gano to punt to Tyreek Hill. And Hill had a good return last time to set up that tying field goal.
Gano in for the injured Andy Lee. Gets it off cleanly. High hanging punt. Hill gets out of the way. This one bounces at the 1 and rolls into the end zone. It's coming out to the 20-yard line. 54-yard punt. A net of 34. Now Alex Smith will go to work with a minute 47 to work with and all 3 timeouts. For Kansas City, a win, and they move into first place in the AFC West. They've already beaten the Oakland Raiders this season. For Carolina, a loss would be damaging. The Panthers have won 2 in a row after starting the year 1-5. They haven't beaten any team outside of the NFC West. And all 3 of their wins have come against teams that currently have losing records. San Francisco, Arizona, and LA.
Arizona, or rather Atlanta and New Orleans trailing at this moment.
On first down, moving pocket, Smith throws. He's on target, Tyreek Hill. Hit from behind, he's got enough for the first down.
Well, he doesn't play like a rookie, does he? He wants the ball. He wants to be the difference maker.
And Alex Smith said, we've put more on his plate. He's been amazed how much he's been able to handle so far in his first year. On first down, Smith knocked down, right back to Smith. And he throws it again.
No, you can't do that, Alex Smith.
Flags come down.
There also may be a roughing Alex Smith, but is he a quarterback after he catches the ball? Does he get that protection? This is an illegal pass by Alex Smith.
He's a receiver. Carl Cheffers.
Illegal forward pass, offense number 11. We're throwing a second forward pass from behind the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
I know he knows the rule. You just wonder in the moment. He doesn't want to get slammed. He did anyway. It's only a 5-yard penalty, but
Probably the best thing, and I've had that happen to me, is the ball comes back to you. Your first instinct, obviously, is to catch it, but if you knock it down, it's just an incomplete pass.
Right.
You don't lose any yardage.
on first and 15 now for Kansas City. High throw, Hill had to adjust to it, and he fumbles the football! Knocked out of bounds! Carolina had a chance at it. Luke Kuechly knocked it free.
Yeah, and we talk about ball placements most of the day. This high pass allows Kuechly to pursue on Hill and knock the ball out of bounds. Alex Smith missed Kelsey with a high pass last time they had the ball, and this time really making it tough on Tyreek Hill to do anything with that high pass.
We're down to a minute left on a 2nd and 17.
Kansas City has 3 timeouts.
From the gun, Smith trying to spin out of trouble. He will not. Carolina should be using a timeout, and they do. K1 short with a sack. The Panthers will get the football back. We've got 45 seconds left. This is a 3rd and 21 for Kansas City. The Chiefs electing not to use timeouts because they don't want to leave enough time for Carolina to work with. But Carolina's defense with a big play, forcing the Chiefs' hand. 3rd down, Hill to catch. Kuechly is there. And Carolina stops him with 2 seconds elapsed off the clock.
Well, he appears to be everywhere. He forced the fumble on a previous play, and now he just reacts to this short pass to Hill and brings him down almost immediately after the catch.
So the Panthers have used their final timeout, but there's 43 seconds on the clock, and Colquitt will punt it to Ted Ginn, standing at his own 30-yard line. We are all tied up, 17 apiece here in the 4th quarter. Winchester, the snapper, clean. Colquitt, high punt, taking Ginn all the way back to the 20. Spin move. Ginn looking for blockers. Stutter step. Ginn out of bounds and a flag thrown late. "53-yard punt. Ginn had a good return. Kansas City indicating it will be against Carolina. And it would nullify the 13-yard run back by Ginn.
And you would expect with
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 55, return team, 10-yard penalty, first down.
It's David Mayo.
Now here's the block right there. Clearly a block in the back on Anthony Sherman. But with just 29 seconds and being way backed up, you would anticipate Ron Rivera would say, just take a knee, let's play some extra football.
And it's Kansas City that has all 3 timeouts left. Coming up, Subway postgame show. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, Coach Cower, latest NFL scores and highlights, all coming up on the Subway postgame show. Cam Newton, 29 seconds to work with. And it's 1st and 10 from the 20. They need 44 yards to get within Gano's range. They get some of it there. Kelvin Benjamin. But remember, no timeouts. Oh, he lost the football. Marcus Peters has it. What a turn of events here in Charlotte. Marcus Peters comes away with it, and they are in field goal range.
That's exactly what he did. He just pulled it out of the grasp of Benjamin.
Marcus Peters with the play of the day.
But now, are they going to get Peters for kicking this ball into the stands after the fumble recovery?
The other issue is whether or not Benjamin's knee was down.
Here's the tackle by Whitaker, and here's the...
What are you doing?
After the play was dead, delay of game on the intercepting team. 5-yard penalty. They retain possession. First down.
Now, Andy Reid, we asked him about Peters. He said he loves to play the game. He wants to compete. When he does something wrong, he gets angry at himself.
That's being a second-year player. He made a phenomenal play. Absolutely phenomenal play.
Walk off the field, have your teammates congratulate you, and move on.
But he's fortunate. It's just a 5-yard delay game penalty.
Right now, they'd be staring at a 47-yard field goal. Just makes no sense.
Santos has a 54-yarder this season, and that is his career long.
So Kansas City has it inside the 30 with 20 seconds left.
Yeah, they do it better than any team in the league, taking the ball away. The Eric Berry interception for a touchdown, and now the play by Marcus Peters.
Now here's the question, because they'll review every turnover. Was Benjamin's knee down? Benjamin tries to get extra yards.
Nope.
Ball's out.
Ball's out. Ripped away by Marcus Peters. We saw Eric Berry with a tremendous play to get into the end zone off the interception. This one is just as awesome.
Kansas City will now be plus 14 in turnover differential, number 1 in the NFL. And Carolina, the disappointment continues for a Panther team that has such a slim margin for error at 3-5.
And why not play for overtime? You're backed up and you're going into the field with just 29 seconds to go. And you decide to throw a hook route to one of your most reliable receivers. And that young man stole it away.
Huge play by Peters. He then punted the ball, where he could not harness his emotions in the moment.
You know,
After review, the ruling on the field stands. First down, Kansas City.
If he had gone off the field and kicked the ball into the stands, no delay of game. he was still in the field of play. And it's delay a game because he's delaying the officials from spotting the ball.
20 seconds left. Ball is at the 29-yard line of Carolina. Kansas City has all 3 timeouts left. Handoff to Ware. Ware breaking through inside the 20. 12-yard rip. Santos getting ready. 13 seconds left.
Yeah, I think you bring the field goal team out right now.
Kansas City uses a timeout. Carolina will not be able to ice Cairo Santos. They are out of timeouts.
Kansas City, as we've talked about, does not turn the ball over. They have just 7 fumbles. Of those 7, they've only lost 3 all season. A couple of difference makers right there.
Well, at this point, they keep the offense on the field. You would presume that Kansas City will take a knee here and set up Santos. Smith just trying to get Santos situated in a better spot, middle of the field. Down to 5 seconds left. And Kansas City will take the timeout. And here comes Cairo Santos. The Chiefs have rallied in the second half. And now they've got a chance for a victory. Riding a 4-game winning streak. Kansas City at 6-2 on the season. Turnover from Kelvin Benjamin set this up for Kansas City on a tremendous play by Marcus Peters. 37-yard attempt for Cairo Santos. Winchester will snap it. Colquitt will hold it. From 37 yards away. Santos sweeps the leg. That's a winner for Kansas City. 20-17, the Chiefs get it done in Carolina. Kansas City flying under the radar, but the record is impressive. 7-2 now, and in first place in the AFC West. Damaging loss for the Panthers, who dropped to 3-6 on the season.
Well, it's complimentary football. All 3 phases of the Chiefs contributed today. Finally, it's the special teams that come through with a game winner. The defense with Peters and Eric Berry, and the offense finally getting it going in the second half.
The defending NFC champions, after losing in the Super Bowl, drop a tough one at home. A game that they were controlling. They could not finish the deal. Final score 20-17, Kansas City over Carolina. For Dan Fouts and Evan Washburn, Ian Eagle, so long from Charlotte.